Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be me talking about my best horror movie releases from 2022. I think this year has been a great year for releases in general, and I hope in 2023 it's going to continue on a similar vein. So rather than doing a top 10 format on this video, I'm going to talk about them with labels and what labels have released what. And first off, I'm going to talk about Second Sight. Now, they have released some of their Hammer movies. I hope they're going to release some more. I don't think they are for some reason, because these ones were released by, I'm going to say, Lionsgate. These ones that they've got from the Hammer collection. And I would like to see them do some more of these, because, to be honest, I would buy, if they released all the Hammer ones like this, it would be amazing to have them, so they would look so great on the shelves. They do such a great job. They've got everything, you know, the booklets, the posters, the art cards. The movie itself looks sensational. So this movie is from 1974. It's actually the last Hammer Frankenstein movie made. It's a great movie as well. All the Frankenstein movies are great, I feel. So that's Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. Also released The Mummy from 1959. This is another one that just the sets. I mean, they've chose all the original artwork to show in here. You've got your art cards. It's just everything you could want from a Hammer set. To be honest, the best Hammer sets available for me. It's like standalone movies, and I would love to see them do more. I don't think they will, as I've said, but here's hoping for 2023. If these ones have sold well, which I think you can still actually buy these ones, these special editions, I do think they're worth it. And also, please get more of these out. So I'm all for getting more of these. Also from Second Sight, you get these big huge boxes. Now this one, Censor, was released. This again, you get the standard fare. You get your big booklet, heavy, and you also get your art cards and you get your disc. This is a brand new movie, 2021 I believe, or 2020, and it's a great movie. It's about the whole censorship and the fact of this, the video nasties. It's more like a psychological movie. It is about this whole period, and it's good. And it's not just about that. There's a bit of a psychological story going on, drama going on behind it. And I find it to be a great movie that might not make too much sense on first watch. But I want to watch it again actually quite soon, because I was quite intrigued by the ending. Because it's one of those endings leaves a lot to be, thought about. But I really enjoyed it. So that's Censor. Very, very heavy set. Another one is a particular favourite of mine. Dog Soldiers. This set is amazing. I think this is the best set I've had. I don't pick them all up. I just picked up the ones that I'm really interested in. The fact is, it's always looked poor in every single release, but Second Sight, when they do a release, they'll go back to get the original negatives if they can, and they will go back and get them the best possible way. And I think that even when they don't get the best possible elements, they'll hang around for it. The Hitcher, which they've talked about for quite a while, but I think they've found we're going to do a Blu-ray only, then they're going to do the 4K of it, because they found the 4K elements. So I'm all for hanging about. They did that with Dawn of the Dead as well. They want to get the best possible stuff. So hopefully when you get things like this, you're not going to double dip, because they're going to say, oh, there's a nicer one coming out like a year later, which is another great thing about Second Sight. You don't seem to have to double dip on them at all. So I'm very excited to see what Second Sight are going to put out next year. Obviously Martin's coming out next year. That's a big. I've already pre-ordered that. And judged on the strength of everything they've done thus far, and also this year, I think the Martin will be a spectacular release. So that's a big shout out to Second Sight. Next up is one of my favourite labels of all time. It is 88. Now, they have been releasing some of these video nasties, and they've done a great job in it. And the fact they brought these movies out in really good special editions is great. Put these sort of things in there. I just think they've got lots of brilliant touches to it. Obviously, this has been remastered from the best source available, and it's always looked awful until this one. And I mean, I love this movie anyway, but it was just so great to get this finally out in such a great special edition. They'll be doing a few more of these video nasties. And also coming up next year, early next year, is this classic. And it is a classic, actually. The more I think about it, I just think it's such a good movie. It's a movie that you think that it's always been classed as one of the worst movies you can see in the video nasties. But I'm interested to see when people get this in January, what they think of it. Now, my good friend Paul Mahon, he was talking to me on Instagram the other day, and he said he's got the 7 release, and he said he actually really enjoyed it. He knows it's a bad movie, and it is a bad movie, but it's a very enjoyable bad movie. So more of this, please. And these things for me, these are the things that I navigate through all the time. I just love all this really old horror films that you can't get ever, and then they come out and you think, wow, 80 are good for doing that. They're good for getting these things back into circulation. And more of this next year, please. That'll be absolutely brilliant. And I think they probably will if they know they're on a good thing. So that makes me think that they will continue down this road. Also, these Italian collection, I know I show this movie all the time, but I can't tell you how good this movie is. So this collection now seems to be integrating 4Ks in the title. Obviously, they've just released their 4K of Cannibal Holocaust, and R.I.P. to Ruggero Deodato, who was just passed away about 2 days ago, which is, it's a really sad thing to happen. He was a great director, I feel, and I feel like it was just a big shame that you lose somebody who's been such a part of horror all your life and been involved in the most controversial film probably ever made, horror film that is. And so more of these coming up, and I think they've got a lot of 4Ks, there's a lot more 4Ks. It's, I think Zombie Coot and Flesh, I think that's coming out, and 4K as well, so there's a lot there to look forward to. I think what I'll do now is I will buy them, I'll buy them all. I'm not going to get the Blu-ray and the 4K. If a 4K comes out, like say Cannibal Holocaust, I will get the 4K as opposed to getting them both. That would be a little bit extravagant, but a big fan of this collection I have been since they started. I mean, that's all the way along there to about that one there. So more of the same on these ones, 88 films. And for me, you can't mention 88 without mentioning Arrow. So this year this came out. Now this is the one that you get from the Arrow store. This is the 3-disc edition of this, and what they've done is, which I hope they only did one of these last year. I was hoping to get a few more this year. Sorry, I hope next year they're going to do a few more of this line. It doesn't seem to have, it's not numbered or anything. It's just the fact that it's just everything to do with this band Video Nasty, and they've just put it on here as if this is like if you saw this in the shop, even with they still got their Arrow logo to look like the logo of the actual I think it's Video Space, is that right? They've kind of copied it anyway, and they've just presented this one with this extra disc, which you can watch it in VHS quality, and you can see things about trailers from when it was released and all this type of stuff. It's a really good way of doing it, and I just hope that they continue with that. I would hate them just to put this out and then be done with it, but if you see another one of these coming out and they're on the Arrow store for the Arrow store exclusive, pre-order it immediately, because they sell out very quickly, and also they go for ridiculous money online. So to stop yourself going down that route, get them pre-ordered straight away. I didn't think this would sell out that quick, but what an addition this is. So more of this. I'd love to see more of this. Now Arrow released a load of 4Ks this year, and for me, all the ones they've released I've been very happy with. Yes, some of them have been a bit double dippy, because you've got the Blu-ray, the 4K remastered Blu-ray, and it looks sometimes they look quite close to the 4K. I mean, the 4K's got the edge. The problem is with them sometimes when they put the 4Ks out again, they use exactly the same packaging. So this to me is the best example of them not doing that. It is Phenomena. But what they've done is they put this out, like there is a good Phenomena Blu-ray which I've got down there, but they've also given you a choice of a few different covers to look the black cover. But I want to get this one because it's so retro. This reminds me of when Creepers came out in the UK in VHS. It was the cut down version of Phenomena, and I hadn't seen Phenomena until I got the Blu-ray, the full version. And I couldn't really remember this actually. I haven't watched the Creepers cut yet. I don't want to see it, although it's a shorter cut. And it's just the fact that they've done this and made it a lot different to the original box set. And I think if they were to carry this down the line, and Tenebrae as well looks a bit different because they hadn't got a special edition for Tenebrae. There's a few more Dario Argentos I think they could get out, Opera being one of them. But I am hoping that Arrow will put out some more classic Italian horror, and a lot of Fulci ones would be on the list for that. I think they would. I'm dying to see if they do another set like this with Fulci. If they concentrated on Fulci next year, it would be phenomenal. So yeah, so the Creepers cut, the Creepers box set for me is the best version I think from their 4Ks for me, the presentation of it. I just love everything about the fact that this is just so different to the other sets that came before it. Looks great on the shelf. And also this one as well, which has went down quite a lot in price recently. I've seen it for £15 online. Demonia. Now this is a Fulci film, funny enough, and it is a 4K remastered. Will they do a 4K of it? Well, I would like to think they wouldn't, because this one was quite expensive. I mean, it's a great fold out and all this, and it's great that they've done this version with this movie, because it's quite like an unknown Fulci movie. I hadn't seen it till I saw this. I wouldn't say it's the greatest Fulci movie, if I'm honest, but I love the presentation of it. For some reason, I love the one that come out the bottom of the box. It shouldn't really be a thing you would think, oh well, that's going to be a problem. I don't find them a problem at all, but I think that it reminds me sometimes of Vinegar Syndrome. I think at Seven they do stuff like this. I think that's great. I've got another one of theirs, the 4K standard version of Battle Royale. That does exactly the same thing, which yeah, I think it's great. But this will go. The thing is with these ones, when you think, oh, this is 30 quid, am I going to do it? Well, do know that I thought this was sold out quite quickly, but I think they went down the route of picking an obscure Fulci film that people aren't really wanting to get. So they're probably being left with a lot in the shelves. That's why they've come down in price. But highly recommend if you can get your hands on it for 15 quid. It's well worth it. So from Arrow for next year, if they do more Fulci stuff, that would be amazing. Next up is a release from Screenbound. It is Virgin Witch. Now this movie here was only £14. It weighs a ton as well. Sorry, £15. This is the same company that put out the Mary Milton box set. And they seem to go into more of the exploitational early 70s sort of flicks. And I'm excited to say it. I mean, I've had it in the shelves for quite a while, but I do want to get these things watched next year. But you get like a lovely booklet in it. You get the lovely looking Blu-ray. And this is a very obscure movie for me. I think it stars the sister of somebody who starred in Hello Hello. Can you believe it? And yeah, so if they put out more stuff like this, I think Screenbound is a company that I've kind of, you get stuff by them, you think, oh, I can't believe that's by them. And the one to watch, I think, they might come up with some good stuff next year. So for that price, I'd love to see some more stuff by them. So that's Screenbound. Also a great thing to come out in 2022, and I hope there's more going to come out in 2023 from Eureka, is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari 4K. It's amazing that you've got something here that's 102 years old that's actually out in 4K. It does look great. It hasn't got HDR on it, unfortunately, but the clarity of some of the shots when you see the original negatives, it's just astounding. The amount of detail you get in it, plus the movie's brilliant as well. And this is the spectacular. I mean, the hard case for me is always the star of the show. I love a good hard case. I love the thickness of these box sets. I think this is a great thickness to have, and also the fact of these. There's some really good silent classics out there that deserve to be seen in 4K. If they can get the original negatives as well, because more of them don't have the original negatives, but if they can find them, they would look sensational. And I'm excited to see if they do. I think they probably tried to dip the toe in the water with this one, and I would love to think that they'll go, because they've got a lot of silent movies in their collection, in the Masters of Cinema collection, and I think that this one's the start of it. Hopefully that they're going to bring out more of it, because I would be all over these like a rush, because I bought quite a lot of them a few times, steel books and stuff like that, like Metropolis and Nosferatu. But those are the ones that I really want to see in this 4K upgrade if I can get them, plus with a nice edition like that. So that's hopefully Masters of Cinema will carry on down the 4K route for the early silent movies. That would be great. Also as well, these ones here, I'm going to talk about these ones briefly. The fact is you're getting these on 4K now, the Universal Classics. Now I think they're going to do more of these. I think they're going to put, like they did with the other ones. This is the one that they did in that, the blue box set. These are all the movies that were in there. And I think they were kind of a good Blu-ray. And these 4Ks look absolutely stunning on some of them. Now, what I was going to say on this one was, this one here by far, Phantom of the Opera, is the best one. That's the only colour one in the whole lot of this set, these sets. It's sensational, technical as well. It just jumps off the screen. It's just everything about it is just so watchable. But the Creature from the Black Lagoon, now what I did was I looked at the Blu-ray, because when I looked at it, it looked like some of the parts, not all of them, had been heavily DNR'd, and I mean heavily DNR'd. So I went to those same scenes on the Blu-ray, had a look at them, and you could see they had been DNR'd as well, these slight scenes, for whatever reason. And you can see a little bit of this DNR. It didn't look that bad. On the 4K, it looks quite. They look basically like they were made out of plasticine on some shots, but some of the shots are crystal clear. To the fact that you just think, wow. And that goes, this is crystal clear. The Bride of Frankenstein, for me, it's got a great review online, but when I saw it I thought, I don't think that's as good as the other ones are. I mean, it still looks great, but they were saying like things like Frankenstein weren't that good, but I thought Frankenstein was really good. The best one in this one is actually the Spanish version of Dracula, which is included on this one. And it's just, I just find them to be so amazing to see these old movies brought to life in a certain way. So I'm not 100% certain these have got HG on them, but I think they have. They look a lot better on the black levers than Dr. Caligari does, but these are from the 30s, that's from the 20s. But yeah, highly recommended. I've got these both in sales. I mean, about £40 each, and that's a great price to pay for these. And I'm hoping that the rest of them, the other Frankensteins and the Draculas, there's not that many Draculas actually. There's a lot more mummies, there's a lot of Invisible Mans. I'm hoping they're going to bring all of them ones out. The best ones for me are the Frankenstein ones. So if they bring them out, that would shoot me down the ground. Also, I'd like them to get out the other, I think there's another 2 Creature from the Black Lagoon movies. At the moment, I'm hoping a lot more of these really old movies are going to, I'll be more interested in old movies next year on 4K than I will be watching the new blockbusters, strangely enough. I'm really excited to see what that brings out, because actually 2022 has opened my eyes to that side of 4K. After thinking that more the 70s and the 80s movies would look good, I'm tending to go more into the 40s and the 50s and the 30s and 20s. Can you believe it? But really recommend these, and excited to see these coming out, and maybe more. The rest of them will come out again, because that'll be fantastic. So lastly, I'm going to talk about Vinegar Syndrome. Now, Vinegar Syndrome are a great company, and I've got 2 things here from John Hall. Now this one here, I'm sure I've shown this before in a best of, probably a few times, but I just want to show it again. It is the Flesh for Frankenstein set. Now this is, you got your hard box, this is so, it's one of them, I keep saying it, tactile. So inside you get these 2 great slip covers. Now they don't need to do this, because they could have just put these in it, but the fact is they put these in as well on both the things they put in there, and you've got this great artwork all the way through. And I just don't know what it is about their slip covers. They're just absolutely, they're just brilliant. They're the best ever slip covers that I've seen on movies. Now, I think at the start of 2022, I was going to say I'm going to get some more of these stuff. Now, I find them quite elusive and quite hard to get and quite expensive to get. The Beastmaster set for this I would have loved, but that's well out of print, and God knows how much that goes for now, which is a bit of a problem when it comes to when you're trying to get more stuff for your money, and you've got to say, well, I'm going to pay £100 for a title. Don't really want to do that for one movie. So yeah, so when Vinegar Syndrome do something to do really well, and I would love to get more of these sets. I would love to get the Dracula one, but that's passed us by. But I will try and get it somewhere along the line. Also, so lastly, I want to talk about this one as well. This is another one that's like a standalone set that John Hall got for me as well, at a great price. And it's just, like I say, it's just these slip covers. If I had to say what was my dream for 2023, would be to own more of this stuff by this label. I just think that they're a great company. I think they've got all of the right things about them. They choose these really obscure movies and give them a stellar look to them, and they're a bit like 88. They take all these old obscure movies and they bring them to life with these great special editions. But for me, if I had a shelf full of these ones, it would be brilliant. That could be my quest for 2023 when I say these things and they don't come to fruition. Maybe this one will. Here's hoping. Have a great New Year's, and I'll see you all in 2023. Cheers.